Yes. Um, if I tell you this, it will sound crazy, but after I record an episode, I work so hard before my guests come to my show. I'm
Oh,
getting ready, getting to know them, preparing for the episode. I'm like having a relationship with this guest by listening to their podcast or books, etc. And after I finish recording, I move on to the next one. Don't stand still to build a network because I have a if I have a good experience with my guest and I follow the requirements and I agree that we stay in touch, then I see if how we can stay in touch, maybe to guest on my podcast again, or I'll be on their podcast. But I don't have this need to have a big network of like build a relationship, whether it's podcasting relationship or friendly relationship with a guest.
today's episode of my podcast story, we have Roula Abou Haidar, the host of the Life Affairs podcast. Roula's podcast is a heartfelt exploration of the intricate tapestry of life experiences, focusing on themes of love, resilience, and personal growth. Growing up in war-torn Lebanon, she faced the challenges of adapting to a new life in the Netherlands while grappling with her past and the complexities of motherhood. Her unique journey, marked by cultural differences and the trials of divorce, has fueled her passion for fostering genuine connections and sharing authentic stories. Rula is here to share her inspiring journey on how she built her show from the ground up, inviting listeners to walk in her shoes and discover the beauty of vulnerability and shared experiences. Tell me your name, the name of your podcast, and what your podcast is about.
Yes, so I'm making the life. Well, I have two podcasts, but I'm going to talk now about my personal podcast because my second podcast, I'm co-hosting it with another person, another podcaster. My personal podcast, the Life Affairs podcast, Echte Levensverhalen. It's a podcast in Dutch and in English, and it tells the stories. Well, actually, it started with a concept, but now I'm going in a different direction. So, what I need to answer your question is it's the Life Affairs podcast with Rula.
The Life Affairs podcast with Rula. How old is the podcast?
How old? Is this what
Yeah,
you asked me?
yeah.
Yeah.
How old is your podcast?
I started in 2023.
Oh, that's 2 years. When are we celebrating the anniversary of the podcast?
Yeah, I'm so busy with creating this podcast and the other podcasts. I have not took the time to celebrate. You are so right. I must think of this.
Wow. Okay. Because what I'm asking is because I'll need to get my cake for for the anniversary. Yeah, that's the most important thing. I'm happy for you that it's 2 years. A lot of persons quit after their first 1 month, first 2 months.
Sorry, the first 2 months?
Yeah, a lot of persons quit. They post the first 5 episodes and they just stop podcasting, and it's just
Yeah.
there. If you go, you see a lot of podcasts, and just a very few persons stick with it for 1 year, 2 years, and even we're going to 3 years now. So that's incredible.
Correct. Because, people get excited to create a podcast and they think it's something easy to do. And once they start, they realize, oh, damn, this is not so insignificant as easy as I thought when I listened to a podcast, and they quit. The other reason why I think people also quit doing the podcast, it really requires perseverance, but it's not very rewarding. And you have to have the will to work hard and wait for the reward to come at a later stage, like not worry about the reward. And people get discouraged when they make
Yeah,
episodes and they have only one or two listeners, which I have sometimes when I started.
yeah.
And they wonder, why am I doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the reward you're looking for, right? If your reward is get a lot of downloads, make a ton of money from the podcast, probably you have to wait for a very long time. But if your reward is, okay, I want to meet incredible people from across the world and just get to ask them exciting questions and have a good time, that itself is the reward. Like for me now, I'm having the time of my life right now doing this podcast. And by the time I finish this episode, I'll hop on another call with another guest. And, it's exciting. I love it. And yeah, of course, I would love to get download numbers. I would love to be the big podcast and all that. But those ones, I count them as bonus for my
Let
mental
me tell you
health.
something. Uh, The thing is, I have learned so much. I've been having every episode with my guest has been a personal coaching for me to develop
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
same
for
here.
me is very rewarding.
Yeah, that makes two of us. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Just a couple of housekeeping for those that are listening. Do you do audio only or audio and video?
I do audio, and only recently, few months ago, I started recording also video and putting it on YouTube. Let me tell you, when I started, the concept in my head did not allow me to do video because I wanted to have a storytelling with a music production, and I did it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Sound effects. And doing this, there is so much work in the background. I cannot have video for it. So
Yeah.
it was only audio. And then while I'm thinking of the future of my podcast and how do I want to grow in this area, I realized what I'm doing is not sustainable. It's beautiful. I'm giving you
Yeah.
the experience of listening to a story like you're watching a movie,
Yeah.
but it's not sustainable. I wasn't able to consistently publish episodes. And when I did, I was stressed. I couldn't look
Yeah.
after my daily tasks because this consumed me. And then
Yeah.
I decided to stop this.
Okay.
Make quality episodes that are focused on the topics that I want to talk about, which maybe later we will get into that. And since I stopped doing this whole music production and whole video production, not video, but
Yeah.
cinematic experience, it allowed me to take my recording and immediately put it on YouTube because it saved me days of editing.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Just for context, purpose, you're the one producing your podcast from start to finish, right?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
one-woman show.
I like the concept and the idea you have for your podcast. Even though your podcast, you can still provide value without doing that concept. But the sweet thing about podcasting is that you are the chef, so you can basically create whatever you want with it. So, what would you think it would take for you to realize that idea without getting burnt out and stressed?
If I think long term, I want to publish more episodes and spend less time on editing. And if I want to outsource my editing and still have the quality that I want to deliver, I have to rethink my concept. Because yes, I started as a storytelling to deliver this experience of listening to a story and feel immersed in it, but that wasn't enough for me. I have topics, I have stuff I want to talk about that is not going to be in storytelling. And this is the shift, thinking long term about outsourcing the administrative and the edit work requires simplification and efficiency. And this is how I got into it. I did talk to a coach actually who helped me figure this out because I was so set in my ways and so scared to change the concept of my podcast along the way. Then I felt I'm going to lose my identity of the podcaster I'm becoming. And the coach helped me to look at the bigger picture and stop whining about the storytelling aspect that I'm attached to it.
Yeah. Wow. The thing about podcasting is that you have too much creative control, and that itself it's crippling and overwhelming for a lot of persons because they're like, okay, how should I do? The question they're asking is not what should I do. They know what to do, but it's more like what's the right thing to do. And the truth is that there's really no right thing. It's more like do what you want to do. It's your show.
Yes, it's my show, but at the same time, it has to attract the right listeners. And sometimes what I like to do is not necessarily what's beneficial for me in terms of attracting listeners.
Okay.
So finding a way to deliver my message and have the listeners have of course, you have your niche, but in the beginning, I don't know what my niche is.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's exploring and trying. Eventually, the people who listen to this kind of podcast that I'm making will listen. But to have the stamina, I think every podcaster have to have the stamina to continue and find a way to encourage us to continue.
Yeah. Wow. What are the tools you use? Where do you can you walk us through from idea to publishing, the tools, the softwares you use? How do you put all these creative ideas together for your podcast?
Yes, I'll tell you. All right, so everything started. My husband knew I want to create a podcast. but we didn't talk much about it. Sorry, I'm going to adjust the volume again. And in 2022, at my birthday, he gave me a Rodecaster Pro machine and 2 microphones. And I was like, I'm not ready. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. Even though I was educating myself every day, listening to podcasts about podcasting, watching YouTube, trying to discover what microphones work, what program I should use, software. I was consumed with learning. But when I saw this machine and the microphones as a gift in front of me, I was like, oh, goodness, this is becoming so real. What am I going to do? I know that I have an idea, but I also don't feel enough confidence to start with my idea. So I looked for a storyteller coach. And I explained to her, I told her, I want to create a podcast where I can tell, or people can come on my podcast and tell the stories of their life, the adversity, the resilience, and how they come out of it, and how they're making a better life of what they grow up in or experience. And she said to me, let's start with your story. So I was like, okay, I didn't know I'm going to talk about my story. And she coached me in telling my story. And because I grew up in Lebanon in time of war, I have so much going on before I came to the Netherlands. She coached me on telling my story. And this is how I got few guests in the beginning and helped them tell their story on my podcast.
Oh, I see. So the podcast is more like having them have something that gets them to tell their story so they can share it with the world.
Yes. And it was difficult because some people think they have a good story, but they don't. And others have a good story and they don't dare sharing it.
Okay. Some think they have a good story, but they don't have. And others think they don't have a good story, but they
Yeah,
do
but
have.
this is also harsh from me to say they don't have a good story. We all have stories. We all have
Okay.
good stories. But it
Okay.
wasn't the story for my podcast.
Oh. Okay, the story they were telling me was not a good story, but they all have good stories. Okay, I
Yeah.
get that. Yeah. I get that.
Yes.
Wow. I like that origin story. Okay. So after you worked with the storytelling coach, okay, what happened
So,
next?
yeah, this is where I started making the stories, the episodes with cinematic feeling, music, etc. And then I was not bored, but this is not giving me satisfaction. This is not the podcast I want to make. And I was using only audio, using my Rodecaster. Incredible machine gives me incredible quality. And I started seeing that maybe I should consider YouTube. I should consider video podcast. But with this kind of I'm making, it won't work. And I started thinking where I want to be, what kind of stories I want to tell, what's my interest. And I discovered that the only thing that I care about, there are 3 things. I care about the differences between how men and women think. I care about becoming a parent and how tough it is. And I care about intimacy and romantic relationships. But they sound like 4 titles, and I
But they're actually
discovered.
the same.
Excuse me?
I said they look like they're different, but they are connected to become one.
Exactly. I had to find what connect all these things together to make a podcast that has one thing that gather all this stuff. And I found that communication topics are key in whatever other area I want to talk about.
So communication helps being a good parent. Communication helps even a romantic relationship. Wow.
If we can't communicate properly, I will not understand the man or the woman standing in front of me.
Yeah.
Or I will not have a good relationship with my partner, with my children. And also discovered in the communication, it is very much about self-development.
Yeah.
And from there, I took this direction into stop doing storytelling and get into the topics that are close to my heart and give me this excitement and this stamina to keep doing the podcast.
Yeah. It's for me, it's the fact that you said you stopped doing storytelling. I'm not really sure if you actually did stop doing storytelling, because I'm quite sure that even the communication you're doing right now, you're still telling stories in it. And Yeah, so I know what you meant was like quotes unquote, you stopped that story, the original concept and the idea you started, but I don't think you actually stopped storytelling. I beg to differ. Because now
You've
even
seen
in
it correctly.
communication, you're still telling stories, but the original quote unquote storytelling idea you started with, you moved from that and now you're doing communication. Wow, that's
Yeah.
nice. So for me, what fascinates me is the fact that this podcasting that you're doing is one of the is how do I explain that? As much as you think that you're working on the podcast is actually working on you. Like so many things you discovered about yourself, so many things you learned, and now we're talking about communication, which you also said is personal development, which I believe that talking about communication, you got to develop yourself too.
I mean, I haven't looked at it this way, and I'm so thankful you said it. The
Yeah,
podcast worked on me.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it makes sense. I need to sit with this after the podcast because I might make a story about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's okay. Let me take the let's take it further. Where were the things that before you started the podcast, right? I noticed that when your husband bought the mic and the setup for you, you had this, and it's almost everybody has it. That's well, I don't have the confidence. I'm not confident enough to start. I don't have the skills to start, and which it's kind of ironical because you a lot of confidence comes from having on so much evidence that you cannot like say anything against it. I'll give an example. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm not confident. I'm not confident." It's quite hard to laugh at a woman that has children, and if you call a woman that has like 5 kids, if you call her barren, it's not gonna. She's going to look at you and she's just going to laugh because she has kids. Or if you call a man that has like billions of dollars poor, he's just going to look at you and say, and he's just going to smile. The people that it might even have any chance of affecting are the people that, okay, they probably don't have the evidence to counter what you said, right? And so the problem now is that because you don't get to start the podcast, you're not going to have the confidence of being a podcaster. And so because you don't have the evidence and because you don't have the confidence, you don't get to start. And that's a lot of things what's affecting a lot of beginner podcasters. And I'm happy that you kind of scaled through that phase. Yeah.
You're
Two
right.
years we are here.
Confidence is it's a scary moment. So much plays in our head before starting podcast. Who's gonna listen? Who
Yeah.
cares about what I'm saying? What
Yeah.
are they gonna say about me?
Exactly.
And um on my actual podcast and on my second podcast with my co-host Rosie, we are not only vulnerable, our podcast is so raw that I have friends call me, tell me, wow, like we never knew this and we're so glad we heard it from you. I don't know where this courage came from.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
definitely came from the 2 years of recording, talking to people, putting myself out there. And I say, I'm terrified from roller coasters and I have water phobia. The sea terrifies me.
Yeah. Hydrophobia.
But this one doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
I'm navigating it, even though there are moments where I'm feeling, do I really want to talk about this topic? That's so hard. Rula, get yourself out there. I can do this. And
Yeah.
everyone has a place where they want to break through the barrier of whatever they're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sweet thing is since I became a podcaster, whenever I'm having a bad day, I'm like, wow, this will make for a good story. I'm just like, write it down.
Yeah. Oh,
And
good. Write it down because you will
yeah,
forget all the good
yeah,
things happening.
yeah. And I'm like, so every day is either I have a good day or a good story. I can't. There's no bad anywhere. So if it's maybe the one of the days where all the terrible things happen, I'm like, wow, this is a good story. So I sit down. I'm like, okay, guys, you won't believe what happened. And people are just they're listening like, wow, yeah. So either way, what happens now, I get to benefit from it. I get to tell
Yes.
the story. Yeah,
Will you
and
be having solo episodes on your podcast? Sorry, now I'm asking a question. I couldn't
yeah,
resist.
yeah, no problem. It's a conversation. We're having a chat. It's not the traditional interview podcast. Yeah, I do have sit down episode, but not for this podcast because this one is more like to get the concept is to talk to podcast hosts and have them share their stories. For my other podcast, I do sit down and I talk about some of the things I'm doing, some of the things I'm trying, and all that. Yeah,
Yes, I like what you're doing. I
yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. You mentioned you have a co-host. How did you meet your co-host?
In the time that I was putting myself out there to learn more about podcasting, I joined a workshop with Pat Flynn. He's one of the big
Yeah,
names in the
I know him.
podcasting.
Yeah, smart passive income.
Exactly. So I joined the workshop, and Rosie was one of the participants. We ended up having a private chat about something. She's in Australia, very far.
Yeah.
And we agreed, okay, once we launch our podcast, I want her to be a guest, and she will invite me as a guest, because at that moment we didn't know about Podmatch, and we were trying to find guests. So this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And this is also in 2023. This is how I met her, through Pat Flynn workshop. We recorded podcasts together, and we continued collaborating, brainstorming, because we're both beginners and there's so much we can learn from each other and from others. In this year, in 2024, around October, we decided to make a podcast together, and we already published more than 60 episodes.
Individually.
5 days a week, every day, one episode. It's a break. It's a quick one, from Monday to Friday. And we talk about anything. Like, there are no limits for the conversation.
Wow. Okay. I'm curious. Do you guys record ahead, or you record that same day?
Yes. No.
Ahead?
We're recording on Thursday. We record 5 episodes for the week. And we recorded a lot. We tried to have a buffer of many episodes before we
Just
start.
in case. Yeah.
And now we ran out. So now we're only a week ahead in our recordings. You know, life happens. I have children and she has her life. We cannot record. And because the episodes are very raw and natural, we have to have the headspace.
Yeah.
And recording more than 5 will be forcing it.
Yeah.
And it won't come out properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. I've been there before. Like, where at some point in time you're like, it feels as if what you created doesn't have what would I call it now? Soul. Like, it's there, but you're like, this thing is lacking. There's something that is wrong here, and everything you say is correct, but you're like, this is not me, and I'm just pushing, and you're not even proud of what you created. So that's just the word. Wow.
This is downside for many podcasters, because we have been, I don't know, taught is the right word, but we're said that we have to be consistent and deliver every week an episode, drop every week an episode, or every week 2 episodes, depending on each podcaster. And we feel the pressure, then we have to create something, whatever it is, because we need to be consistent in delivering every week. I don't have sometimes this inspiration to, even when I'm having a guest, I have to be in a place where I have enough questions, valuable questions. There are days that I can't get myself to ask the questions I want to ask. This is tough. Yesterday, for example, I was so consumed with ideas that I sat down and I wrote topics for 3 episodes, solo episodes.
Yeah.
I don't have this every day, and things come, and if I don't write them down, if I don't remember what I want to record for the next time, I will fail on delivering. And I don't deliver on my personal podcast. I'm not delivering every week an episode. I drop every month an episode, sometimes 2 episodes a month. I'm still trying to find the frequency that works for me.
Yeah, the strange thing you talked about, say we have to be consistent, is that the funny thing is that most people don't really find print. The fine print says that you are the boss. You get to decide what consistency means for you. I interviewed a podcaster that has been releasing a show for the past 17 years. And what he does on his show is that he releases 1 episode every month. For the past
How many
17
years?
years.
17?
17, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has been releasing 1 episode every month. The sweet thing about consistency is not necessarily pumping out content every week. It's just that you want people to know when your next episode is coming out, so that they can anticipate for it. So even if it's every month, 1 every 2 months, of course, you just want to be intentional about it. And you can take break. But what we want to be saying is that we want to be intentional about it, so that it doesn't happen that the reason you are not consistent is because you just don't feel like it, or maybe things are not in place. But after maybe you release your first 100 episodes, you can say, okay, I want to take 3 months break. And your audience, they are aware of it. They are, okay, after 3 months, she's going to come back and, start releasing it. Because it's just like you don't want to ghost your audience, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like
You want to be credible
exactly.
and
We're
present.
we're having this conversation now. You could probably say, oh, that's true. I need to take something. I need to deal with something. Give me 5 minutes. But if I am just talking to you and the next you just disappear, I'm like, where did she go? What happened? What's going on? In fact, I'm start panicking. I hope all is well. But when you tell me, okay, just give me 5 minutes, I need to attend to someone at the door. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm like, 5 minutes. I'll just be looking at 5 minutes. When 5 minutes is done, I'm like, okay, oh yeah, she's back. You get.
Yes. Knowing expectation, building an audience. What plays against us these days is the algorithm. Because also in
Yeah,
podcasting, there's an
yeah,
algorithm in the
yeah.
podcast apps. It's the new god. Is the most evil god. I don't know. It's the algorithm
Yeah.
is a nightmare.
Yeah, but the algorithm of podcast is not as brutal as that of YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I mean, most podcasters, once they followed you and they marked your podcast, where every episode you release, it gets downloaded automatically into their phone until they can listen to it. You know, the thing about podcasting is that the people that listen to podcasts, they listen to it with a routine, right? People listen to podcasts probably every time they're washing clothes, every time they're cooking. That's for it depends. Every time probably they are at the front lawn in the night, just watching the star this yeah, I mean, the people that listen to podcasts, they listen to it with routine. Usually, people listen to it when they are going to, if they are commuting to work, right? Maybe the 45 minutes where they are going to take the train and the bus, they just listening to the stuff there, right? So the thing is this, getting into their routine is a privilege. And as much as possible, you don't want to leave that routine because the thing is that if you disappear for like 2-3 months, they will replace you with someone else, and getting back is very hard. So that's why they say be consistent. They say don't disappear, because if you release every month, people will anticipate your stuff. Like, okay, yeah, every month, every first Monday, an episode comes out from this podcast. I should go listen to it.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
have on my phone the podcast that I listen to them already for years and years. They're still the same.
You see what
Every
I'm
now
saying?
and then I search for new podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's right. I feel this is my routine, and my time is to listen to podcasts, is to take a walk, or sometimes when I'm folding the wash or doing the
Exactly.
dishes. And I know which podcast even suit that activity.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? But the moment when one of those podcasts is stop production, guess what's going to happen? You're going to find you're going to start searching for podcasts like this, and then you look for a podcast, and then you replace them, and then even if they start releasing, it's going to be hard because something else has just taken their place, and that's
True.
that's that's the thing about having a consistency and that. But the thing is that one thing we should never forget is that we get to write the rules. So make sure that the rules they favor you.
It's
They're not
there.
against you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. When so far you started your podcast now, it's going 2 years. So I'd love for you to tell me what are some of the benefits, what are some of the discoveries the podcast has done for you personally, not just we'll talk later about professionally and business wise, but yeah, bless you.
Can I please ask you to repeat the question because you were breaking?
Oh, I said you've been
There's
doing the
gonna be a lot
podcast
of
for
editing on this episode. I'm so sorry.
no problem. I use test documents. I'll just search for it and delete the words.
Great.
It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. Yeah. I was saying that you've been doing podcasting for 2 years now. What are some of the major discoveries you found regarding podcasting about yourself? How do I put it now? During the process of podcasting, you discovered these things about yourself. And in terms of personal development, how has podcasting helped you?
Very good question. I discovered that I could do things my way and not care about how others think I should do it or want me to do it. Because creating the podcast my way made me know what kind of person I am. How do I talk? What are my ideas? What do I believe in? How other affects me with their opinion. It's been a journey for me of freedom. It taught me to be free to express my thoughts and do the topics I want to do regardless what others think. And I haven't
Yeah.
had this free feeling for a very long time in my life. First, it was my family, what the neighbor think, what the family thinks, and then the husband, the kids, the work, the boss. And doing the podcast is like, finally, I have this
Yeah.
thing I do.
I'm the
I'm free.
boss. I
Not
call the
necessarily
shots.
I'm the boss. It's more that I'm creating my own stories and my own product. You like it, take it. You don't like it, then it's not for you.
Yeah. It's not for you.
And this is what I learned. Let go of others' expectations and believe that there is a niche. I'm talking to those who really want to listen, not everybody.
Yeah.
My podcast is not for everyone.
Yeah, of course.
So this
It's
is one
funny.
thing.
Okay. Okay.
The other thing is that I have grown in knowing how to talk to people,
Wow.
how to listen,
Okay.
accepting others' opinions, and try to see how do they work for me or how do they conflict with me. And having guests talking about critical, taboo, and controversial topics has been a learning curve on discovering people. You know, I'm in the Netherlands and I'm having guests from all over the world talking about the craziest topics, and we're okay with that. They have a platform to voice their topic, their conversation, and I have a platform to listen, accept. So it has been a learning curve of acceptance, of having my mind open on the stories that I'm listening to. This is an incredible eye opener.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just going back to the first thing you said. It's funny how we live our life all through from being a child down to being an adult. Most every major thing we do in our life, someone else told us to do it. Someone else gave us permission to do it. And so a time comes when we need to do something where nobody's going to give us permission to do anything. Nobody even cares whether we do it or not. Like starting your own podcast. And then you're like, okay, somebody should tell me to do this thing. Like you need somebody to validate you. So you need somebody to say, okay, go ahead, you should be doing this thing. And a lot of persons, they don't start. Like it's funny how I was talking to a friend and I was like, you wanted to start creating content, but you're not consistent. And I was like, but the moment I give you this thing as a job, you are going to be serious about it because now I'm giving you permission, now I'm giving you validation. And I'm like, why are you handling your own thing like this? And she was like, yeah, that's true. I guess if you say that way, yeah. And we're both just laughing.
True. We have to practice to do our own thing without waiting for someone else to validate or give us instruction or their opinion. I mean, it's
Yeah,
important, of course. We are raised in a way to live a certain kind of life, and if we're not doing it as that other person wants, doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. It's just I
yeah,
believe that each one has their freedom, and each freedom looks different than the other.
yeah. Well,
But it takes
um,
a long time to realize that. And I'm
yeah,
glad you are in this stage and making a podcast. This is your freedom in voicing
yeah.
and growing.
Hey, just a quick break. If you enjoying the insights so far and want even more behind the scenes ideas, inspiration and tools for growing your own podcast, join my email list at mypodcaststory.com/join. That is mypodcaststory.com/join. You get access to helpful resources, exclusive updates, and the kind of stuff I only share with my email subscribers. Whether you're starting out or already podcasting, there's something valuable waiting for you. Head over to mypodcaststory.com/join and subscribe. Now, back to the episode. Yeah. Honestly. Okay, we've talked about personal benefits. I know there are a lot of other personal benefits. Right? There's so many. You've networked with a lot of guests. You've met your co-host, Rosie, right?
Rosie, yes.
Yeah, you met Rosie, and you people are best of friends for the past 2 years. It was because you decided to do a podcast. If not for podcast, what would have led you to Pat Flynn's workshop or probably make you start chatting with her? It's amazing. And I know you've met some other amazing guests on your show. Wow. Well, the question I want to ask now is what are some of the network you've kind of built via your podcast? Some amazing network you built via your podcast, not just the interview, but guests that led on to other relationships after the interview.
Yes. Um, if I tell you this, it will sound crazy, but after I record an episode, I work so hard before my guests come to my show. I'm
Oh,
getting ready, getting to know them, preparing for the episode. I'm like having a relationship with this guest by listening to their podcast or books, etc. And after I finish recording, I move on to the next one.
oh,
I don't stand still to build a network because if I have a good experience with my guest and I follow the requirements and I agree that we stay in touch, then I see if how we can stay in touch, maybe to guest on my podcast again, or I'll be on their podcast. But I don't have this need to have a big network of like build a relationship, whether it's podcasting relationship or friendly relationship with a guest. I move on to the next one. My head has another topic and I'm so busy looking for the right person for it. I hope I answered your question correctly.
That you're going to connect with them, right? And we know you have a lot on your plate, a lot of things that are going on. So for me, I want to ask, do you have a system where for those you've intentionally said, I'm going to connect with you, I'm going to reach out to you to be a guest on your show? Because the thing is, if you're doing, let's say you're doing one guest every month, well, it's not really hard to manage. But if you're interviewing maybe 5, 10 guests before you do 3, 4 months, it becomes really hard. So do you have a system for like, managing, reaching out and staying in touch and all that? But you said you
Yes,
just move on.
I don't have difficulty with this because I have a list of topics that I want to talk about. And then I found the guest that I want to talk about. I
Yeah.
make sure that I keep them engaged. At first, I don't make them wait too long to make an appointment. And I make sure that, look, most of my process is getting to know the guest before they come on my show, because
Yeah.
once they are on my show, I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And if I want to maintain a kind of relationship with this guest, I make sure I appreciate them, I follow them on social media, and I participate in what I think they need. Like, say they published a new book, I'll be the first one to cheer them up
Yeah.
or to order their book.
You see, that's the thing. How do you stay in touch? By the time you do this, keep doing this for 3, 4 years, you'll be having maybe 100, 200 guests.
I'm
Keeping tab of all of them.
selective. I
Okay.
don't have to be in touch with all of them. So I have a
Oh.
selection of guests that marked me. And I feel that these are the people I want to be coached by, or I want to follow their work. Because sometimes my guests talk about an important topic for my audience, but not especially for me. So I don't need to stay in contact with that guest. The ones that I stay in contact with are really handful of guests for now, regardless how many I recorded.
Yeah.
But we always depart on good ways. So if one day I want to have the same guest back on my podcast, I don't have to be in contact with them every day. When we had a good work relationship together and recording, I'm sure we can like reconnect again and see if they are still interested and in that place. I love to follow their newsletter. Some guests, I cannot wait to read their newsletter because their topic concern me and I'm interested in. And it's I manage my priorities because I don't have to be friend or keep in contact with each guest, and for them it's the same. I'm just one podcaster in their life of so much things going on.
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess I understand. Yeah, quickly, I just want us to know, you mentioned that you're a one-woman show, you're the one handling everything and doing all that. And for a lot of persons, that's inspiring. And so what are the apps, the tools you use for your podcast?
Very good question. Oh, I learned so much. I have been watching in the past time and time YouTube and everything. I used Descript and I used GarageBand.
Okay.
And now I'm using Riverside and
Oh,
Descript.
okay.
When it was only audio, I was using just my Rodecaster and GarageBand. I was
Okay.
getting free royalty music from Pixabay.
Yeah, yeah.
I use Canva, and I have subscription to few of them because, okay, Riverside, I want a good system of recording, so I subscribe to it. Canva, I subscribe to it. Descript, I subscribe to it. And I use ChatGPT a lot because it helps me make tons of social media posts in little time. I don't know if you're freezing or you're listening because I don't see you moving.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Shall I
last time
continue?
you said ChatGPT, that's what I heard last. So you can continue from there.
Yes, I use ChatGPT. It's my colleague. I work with ChatGPT every day. It helps me make my social media posts, and also it helps me in getting ideas. It's a good tool when we use it correctly. I know all the ups and downs, and I know that no, these days, podcasters are being accused that they're asking ChatGPT to do the work for them. And I think those who have this idea are people did not work with AI or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because if they know how they can use them in their own creation and content, they know that ChatGPT is not doing the work for you.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
quality of the work is not good.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
this
it's like,
misconception, I want to mention it. If other
yeah.
podcasters are listening, I'm sure they know the benefit of ChatGPT. And these are the things I use. Yeah.
Yeah, like your workflow is pretty simple and straight to the point. And for me, one of the things I've been trying to optimize regarding ChatGPT is the fact that um I don't want to always be doing the same thing again and again. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Like show notes, for example.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing that again and again. So recently got a tool called Cast Magic where I spend a maybe a full maybe 20 30 hours crafting all the best prompts of all the things I need, and then I put those prompts in Cast Magic such that all I need to do is upload my episode into Cast Magic, and it's going to like generate everything at the same time with the click of a button.
So you use Cast Magic?
Yeah. It's more like
Okay,
ChatGPT. It's
okay,
ChatGPT
yeah.
is in the back end. It's more like an AI wrapper. So ChatGPT is in the back end, but it automates it for me. I can actually connect my how do I put it now? I can connect my RSS feed to it that such that things will come up. I can also upload the episodes to Cast Magic, and I can also use automations like Zapier to connect. Let's say after I do the show notes, and I can also bring people to the team. You know, if you're using ChatGPT, you can't get someone to come into your ChatGPT accounts to do the episodes and stuff like that.
Correct. Yes.
So I can add team members to my account in Cast Magic such that, let's say the show notes, let's say, for example, if I have a virtual assistant that copies everything and pastes and upload and do all those things, they can go to Cast Magic and do all those things. But I don't have one for that. But it's just for me that I don't want to be doing the same thing again and again. If I know that every time I do an episode, I'll be always going to generate a show notes, I'm always going to generate key points, a chapter, timestamps, I might as well
Yes.
just do it once and have it do it handle itself every time I release an episode. So that's
You're
what I've
way
been
ahead
using.
of me with your efficiency. Way
I mean,
ahead.
yeah,
I'm gonna register what you said so I
yeah,
explore it too. You
yeah,
know, the thing is, in the beginning, I thought that I have to write my show notes in the most good way to have SEO optimized. I have to write them myself. Then I
yeah,
realized I don't care about my show notes as long as they contain the keywords, the content. It doesn't have to be me who's writing the show notes. I spent so
yeah,
many hours writing show notes.
yeah. I mean, the sweet thing about show notes is that you can actually customize it the way you want it and create a very good prompt, and then put the prompts, and that prompt will be used every time you release an episode so that you don't, because for me I don't want to always be coming up with prompts again and again and again. Like I've done this thing 20 times, do I have to do it again? Like if something is repetitive that doesn't require creative control, like I mean the
Yes.
first time I did it, of course I needed to think, but the second time I'm basically doing the same thing again and again. So I might as well just automate it and focus on the interview and talking with guests. Yeah,
Absolutely. Do the things you
yeah,
love to do and let ChatGPT do the routine and repetitive
yeah.
work.
Yeah, if you are interested in Cast Magic, of course, I don't have any plug or any of those things, but if you're interested in it too, they are doing a lifetime deal. So if you pay for the tool once, you get it for life. So you don't have to pay for monthly subscription. It's on AppSumo.
Share the link, please.
If you go to apps, okay, should I share the link to you? Okay, I should probably share the link to you after.
Maybe later you can email it to me.
Yeah. I'll send it to you because I think the deal is ending in like 7
Because
days
now
or so.
other podcasters listening to this episode will also use the link.
Yeah. It's funny how on the previous episode there was a lady that she said she's really big on creating clips for her video, and I was like, if you're really big on creating video clips, that's this clips now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was like, if you're really big on that, and she was like, she's not active on TikTok, she's not active on Instagram. I was like, why? It's the same format that you're creating, and I was like, okay, you could use it. There's a tool you can actually use that. Once you connect your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook account, all you need to do is just focus on your YouTube Shorts. And once you post anything you post on your YouTube Shorts, the tool is going to pick it up and post it on those platforms without you having to log into those accounts. So you are basically growing followers, growing all this attention on different platforms without having to be on TikTok, be on Facebook, be on Instagram. I mean, if you are doing it on your own, like you don't have that time to be managing all 5, 10, 7 accounts, but you have to be everywhere. And you might as well just use these tools for your own advantage.
Okay. Keep
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah, so the tool is called repurpose.io, and for like $35 per month, you can connect unlimited accounts and be everywhere.
Okay.
So people see you, they're like, she's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, she's on which other one? And Twitter, she's everywhere, she's on Pinterest. How does she do it?
I love that.
Yeah, the sweet thing for me is that when all these big tech companies are competing, I'm always happy because then it makes things easy for me. I'll give an example. You see ChatGPT now and Gemini, they're all competing, which means that I can basically use some of these tools for free and the AI is getting better. But the other thing is that, TikTok came up with this vertical video idea, and then every other social media platforms copied it, which makes me, I'm quite happy because then now I can create the same piece of content and not have to think of, oh, how do I reformat it so it fits this platform? I can,
Goes everywhere, yes.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
Rosie, my co-host, created for us a TikTok account because she's a millennial. She has a TikTok
yeah,
account. I'm a Gen X. I don't have a TikTok account.
yeah,
So she created for us a TikTok account, and I'm starting considering to indeed just do TikTok and let it drizzle down whatever, or
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
and let it drizzle down. Yeah.
Yeah, and the sweet thing is that you're already using Descript, and Descript, they have this feature that creates clips for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually liking Riverside clips much more than Descript.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why do I hate Riverside?
Oh goodness. Okay. This is debatable, and I
Yeah.
think that I have to go back and see what Descript is giving me again.
Like Descript, they've updated. I'm not a Descript customer, but I'm considering to switching to Descript right now. They've updated. Wow. I
okay.
went through some of their features and I'm like, wow, this is
Okay,
brilliant.
I'm gonna wait to see your you are on X, but I'm not on X. So if you have another social media platform to share with me, so I can
Okay.
follow your clips and see what you're doing.
Okay.
I
What's
bet there's so much to learn from you.
That's true. That's true. When I release this episode, of course, I'm going to make clips out of it. If you're interested, I can actually make the ones you can use and share for your own platforms. And yeah, if you want
Yes.
to promote it, I can make for you. Yeah. This script is some of the things I saw. I was like, wow, I can't believe, because when they started the first time, it was people just saw the tool like it was just basically transcript editing, and I was like, nah, that stuff is not
Correct.
interesting. But now you can do some fantastic things, and you can actually save these layouts and all that on the platform. And the sweet thing is that you can get the AI to do highlights for you from the transcript, and then you can edit it and put all these things together.
Now I remember. You're right. You can even ask to do highlights about a specific topic from your episode. Riverside just do random stuff.
Yeah. See, Riverside, I keep saying that Riverside is a podcast streaming tool that helps us to record podcasts. And then they decided to say, okay, we might as well just add editing feature for the people. But this script was made for editing. But then they are like, okay, we might as well just add. So more like their recording feature is an afterthought. Why Riverside, their editing feature is an afterthought. So it's not as good as, you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I trust Riverside more for recording compared to Descript.
Correct.
Yeah.
Descript recording is not good. Though transcript of Descript is excellent.
Yeah.
Transcript on Riverside, it's a nightmare with mistakes and yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Like the tool is, for me, the thing that fascinated me about Descript is the fact that this how you are editing a video, you're making a video, you can introduce a speaker and then have their title, their profession on the screen and all that. Probably if you have to like use fancy editing too, but with Riverside, you can just go to the transcript and kind of like select the text from where you want the thing to start to where you want it to end, and then you select a layout, and then just boom, it's going to add it. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And for me,
so efficient and quick. Yes.
It goes back to the fact that right now, podcasting, creating content is just so easier than when it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And the problem still being that we have to get over ourselves. It's the courage issue, not necessarily the tool or the the gear or any of those things.
You know, when I started in 2023, I didn't do a video podcast because it was a lot of work. Audio was the simplest.
Yeah, it makes sense that you
But
start
it
from the
advanced
known.
in such an incredible speed.
Yeah. No, I keep saying that it's easier to like start with something you know you're comfortable with before you move to the unknown, so that you can progress rather than say, okay, I start video, it's very hard, there's so many things out there. You might as well just start with audio and from there start your podcast and then later on move to video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you doing also video podcasts or just audio?
I'm doing
Also.
video now. Like it's recording video. Like I started with
Okay.
audio. My podcasting story, it's probably something for another day, but it has been brutal. Yeah, when I started, the internet over here, it's not so good. I wanted to do video from the beginning, and chatting with my guests was just so I could not have a conversation. The internet was really, really bad, and I was like, okay, should I quit or what should I do? And I started to think. I was in a brainstorming session. I was like, okay, I should do audio only, and I started doing audio only. It was better because the bandwidth is lesser compared to video. Like, audio files are usually lesser compared to video, so it was easier to have a conversation with them. There was even a time I was thinking of doing asynchronous recording. You know what asynchronous recording is, right? Where I would book a time with you, and when you hop on the Riverside, you are going to see a list of questions, and you're going to answer them for the next 10 to 20 minutes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that. But eventually I decided to say, okay, I needed to find a better time for the internet. I've been able to, like right now, I'm not at home, I'm in a workspace, and they happen to be using Starlink. So so they happen to be using Starlink. So I just found different ways to be doing it.
So it's hard for you because you depend on good connection.
Yeah, and the internet is not so good. Like the normal internet, the day I have 10 MB per second, I'm happy. That's a good day, right? But I don't know what's your internet speed over there.
I don't know, but it's very quick.
Okay, I don't know. I would have said maybe, okay, for comparison, can you go to like fast.com to check?
You want me to go on fast.com?
Yeah, to just check the internet speed. So let's see let's see what I'm dealing with. Because right now your stuff is like 2.4 gig is already uploaded. Mine is I'm still struggling to upload 1000 out of the 2.8 gig of my own file.
Oh,
so you see that it's just way different. But I would love to like know the number.
Okay, so I'm on fast.com. What do I do?
Yeah, it's refreshing. Something is loading on the screen. Yeah. Once it's done, it will show you a number, and that's the internet speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's working on it. It's 340.
Ooh.
Very quick, huh?
340. The day I get 10 MB per second, I'm happy. That's a good day.
Goodness. Wow.
You see, yeah. So recently I was having a conversation with guests. Sometimes,
so indeed, it's 9. The upload speed is 240 MB.
Wow.
Mbp.
Wow. Man, you're living in paradise. Wow.
I have to admit, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly.
And I have to say that my husband made sure we have the best connection in the house.
Wow.
So he's the technical
Kudos
guy.
to him. Yeah, my regards to him. After the podcast, tell him that Wisdom said hi.
I will tell him.
Yeah. Wow. Honestly, your setup looks amazing. I don't know what you're using right now, but the camera, the quality is superb. I can see like the pixels on your face.
No,
like,
don't.
Yeah, like it's really nice.
Do I have lipstick on my teeth? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, but it looks really amazing. Some of the times you see some ladies that are really, really beautiful. The internet ends up making them look like something else.
Like aliens. Because I have this with Rosie. She used Starlink and she lives in a van in Australia. And sometimes I tell her that I can't see her. She looks like an alien. She like really extraterrestrial person because of the connection. And she tells me every time, we're on Riverside, don't worry, my recording will be clear.
The high quality. That's the assurance I have, and I'm so happy about that, unlike Zoom or these other platforms. But the problem now is that if you're trying to have a conversation with someone, it's kind of hard when the internet is really bad, because then I say something 3 minutes after you're getting the thing, and then you're trying to respond like we're just talking on top of each other, and it's really bad, like really bad.
True. Yeah. You know what I liked now because now we're kind of, our conversation started very formal and now it's getting more relaxed and really like friendly. Yeah. And when I was listening to your trailer and the first episode you posted, I was like, this guy has sense of humor. He's gonna be a really, really nice guest. But now I see it. I didn't know what to expect because I
Yeah, I
couldn't
mean,
listen to other episodes.
yeah. You know, I said we're going live on 1st of May. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have to start from somewhere. Usually, we can't just sit down and start looking at ourselves. We have to start with the basic. Who are you? What do you do? And then from there, we start having a pretty normal chat. If not, we might just start staring at each other and awkward 2 minutes. And like, okay, you're supposed to say something like, well, you should ask me the questions. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I also refused guests. You didn't ask the question, but I'm giving you some something.
Why is my screen looking really dark? It's
Yeah,
what I
it's
have to
getting
deal
lighter
with.
again.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
rejected guests because even though their topic was interesting, I'm interested in, we didn't have chemistry. So when they came for the pre-interview, I couldn't find a way to make this episode interesting. So I did
Yeah.
not continue. And that's
Yeah.
also something with having guests on the podcast. Not every guest will have a chemistry with you, so you can be spot on with the questions, think on your feet. The guests have to have this something that encourages you to get on with it. The
Yeah.
questions, I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, yesterday I had a pre-interview with a guest, and for me, I was just wondering. I was like, why did I even do this pre-interview? It felt like I wasted 15 minutes of my time because this guest immediately she hopped on camera, we instantly connected, and I was like, we should have just have done the episode, right? There was no need for this pre-interview. Pre-interview usually is for those that you know that they are going to waste 1 hour of your time, and yeah, those are the people you do it pre-interview for, not the guys that you hop on and you connect immediately and you're like, wow, we should have just done the episode. And at the
Because it
point in
was
time,
that good, huh?
yeah, it was that good.
Yeah.
At the point in time, I had to hold myself from asking her questions, and I was like, dude, I'm not doing an interview. I'm not doing the episode. Like, this is the
Oh,
pre-interview. She's supposed to be the one asking me questions to know
yeah.
if how she can better serve my audience. And it wanted to kick in. It was like reflex action. I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, no, 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 no. Yeah, but yeah, she's booked a time, and yeah, in the future I would. Yeah, and she's a podcast host too, and I would interview her on this podcast too. It was for the other podcast that I interviewed her though. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sometimes it helps and yeah.
yeah, I guess I'll quickly want to ask you about the money aspect. I'm interested in that part. Are you making money
No
with your
money.
podcast?
There's no money.
No? Okay.
No money at the moment.
Okay.
Yes, I knew when I started the podcast, I'm not going to earn anything from it because in the research that I did, if I'm going to have ads on the podcast, I have to have like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 downloads per episode.
Okay.
I don't have that yet. And other podcasters are generating income by becoming a coach and having the podcast as a source to get the people to know them.
Yeah.
For myself, I'm not making any income from a podcast because I have not figured out yet how can I make a business from my podcast.
Okay. I guess the question we should be asking is, how can I provide value for my audience that they get to pay me for it?
Yes, that's true. That's true. And the audience have to build trust and get to know the podcaster before they decide to subscribe to premium content. I don't have premium content yet, also because I don't have time to create it with the two podcasts. I do think that my other podcast with Rosie, we might have some buy us a coffee idea.
Yeah.
And I'm really not doing the podcast to live from it, at least not now. And this is
Yeah.
why I'm not focused on the financial aspect of it. I'm more focused on the quality and serving my audience and being on a podcast like yours to help other podcasters, because we don't all want to, no one will become rich from creating podcasts. And this is not the reason why we start a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if the podcast can cover its running costs though.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
I find this is hard in the beginning.
Yeah, and it's a good thing it's hard, and it's a good thing that it's hard to make money from podcasting. It means a lot of persons don't get to do it. And
True.
that's a good thing for us because it means the competition is less And if we just, like there are so many things that affect podcasters that except you're willing to do this thing, you don't get to stick with it for like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, right? It's hard to monetize. It's hard to get views or get downloads. So many things. And yeah, it's a good thing.
I
Yeah.
think one day if I start going to podcast conventions and putting myself out there in the podcast world, I can start thinking, what am I going to do with the future of my podcast and to make it become my primarily income? As far as I don't do this yet, I think I'm going to stay an indie podcaster until I start putting myself out there. And there's
Yeah.
something important, Wisdom, to say is that the podcasters who are living from their podcast, they were known before they created the podcast. Take, for example, Joe Rogan, Jordan Harbinger, Mel Robbins, Stephen Bartlett. They have already something that made them known and famous and influencer. I don't know what they were. And this is why their podcast is so famous and generating income.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Podcasters forget this.
It's a good thing you mentioned that because what we are talking about the extreme. We are talking about people that are making millions of dollars. Of course, it would be nice if you make millions of dollars from your podcast, but I'm talking about thousands here. And
Exactly.
you just took us to that extent. Like I've seen people on this podcast who came and they shared some creative ways they made money from their podcast. And I was like, dude, seriously? Some of them, they say that what they do is they invite guests that are potential clients and then they get to like talk to them, talk about their business, and kind of like offer ways that they can do some things for their business. And then at the end of the conversation, most of the times they close the guest as a client. And I was like, wow. So I was like,
Yes,
wow.
this is a strategy. But you see, the podcast is their tool because they are offering other service or product.
Yeah. Okay, so what you're talking about is you just want to make money from the podcast itself without having to offer something out of other than the
Yeah,
podcast.
indeed become an expert in my field or find a way to generate income. But I don't think my podcast will be it. Probably I will do something else and I will use
Yeah.
my podcast as a marketing tool.
Yeah. And it's how do I explain now? The funny thing is that if there are marketing tools that you have to pay money for, like running paid ads, right? But podcasting, you don't have to pay money for it. Of course, you need money to run the podcast, but you don't have to pay money for that marketing channel. And what will essentially will happen usually in SEO, there's what they call how much is that traffic worth? How much is that lead worth? Right? So usually in business, you want to like see, okay, if I was paying for this leads that is coming from this a marketing channel, how much would I need to pay? And in turn, you realize that, okay, that's actually the money this podcast is making for me. I don't know if it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there are pretty much creative ways. And one of the things I found is that people want to support you, especially if your podcast is, they really want to support you. They really they want to pay, they want to join the community. Yeah. And you just give them the opportunity to do that.
I agree 100% with you. I see my podcast more as a community than a service to sell
Yeah. Yeah.
or to
Yeah.
subscribe to.
Yeah.
The community it builds, then something would come from it maybe. And most of the indie podcasters, they start because it's a hobby. They have a topic close to their heart they want to talk about. They want to spread the word about the topic. I don't think we start with the idea, I'm going to now nail it and be rich. And no, podcast is not, this is not the job. The job is to deliver good content for the experience.
Yeah. I think now that you've mentioned that you want of making money inherently from the podcast, I think I'll explore that. Probably when I found a recipe for that, I'll probably share it with you.
I don't hear you for a moment.
I said
Let's wait.
can you hear me now? Bless you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, I said I would find a recipe for monetizing just from the podcast itself. And if I do find, I would let you know. I would write your name down so that when I find a recipe and I'll say, okay, yeah, Rula, I think I found the recipe. After much tinkering in the lab, this is it.
But Wisdom, when you find this recipe, that will be your expertise where you will be building your business on. So when you find your expertise, you have to sell it to me. as a coaching or as an idea.
Yeah.
not as or if you need
Yeah.
someone else to experience and see if it works,
Yeah.
then
So let's
let's do
test run
this.
it. Okay. We need some guinea pigs. Let's test run this recipe and see if it works. Yeah,
Yes.
but it would be nice if, because I see a lot of podcasters, they're not active on YouTube, and YouTube has a lot of opportunity. Like people are like crushing it on YouTube, and for me, it's not that they're not creating good content. It's just that they're not packaging the content for the platform well, and it's not like I know how to do it, but I feel that that's what the gap is. And if they find a way to capture and do that, they would like leverage a ton of audience, because some of them, they are creating incredible content. And
Yeah.
YouTube is just one of those things that, well, like I'm a podcaster, and like they just post their content on YouTube and that's it. And I'm like, wow.
But you know what? Also, we're not. I still believe, if this is also debatable and opinions are changing on it, I don't think podcast is a video material. I cannot listen. I mean, if I'm listening to a podcast doing an activity, I want my eyes to rest. I'm so sick and tired of the phone in my hand. This is why I
Yeah.
listen to podcasts, and I encourage others to listen to podcasts, to step away from the screen. And
Yeah.
podcast as an audio, this is what should be growing. Because when it's on YouTube, then it's a YouTube, then it's not a podcast anymore.
Yeah. I beg to
And there
differ.
has been a research in Gen Z. My daughters are Gen Z, they're 20 and
Okay.
22. They don't watch YouTube, they listen to podcasts.
Okay.
So the new
Okay.
generation, Gen Z and maybe Gen Alpha, my son is Gen Alpha. Hopefully this is their way to step away from the screen, to listen more to content rather than watch content.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about, I listen to podcasts on YouTube, and here's why I do that. YouTube has for the premium subscribers, they have a feature where I can turn off my phone. Once I'm playing a video, I can, kind of like put the phone in sleep mode. I kind of like, what I'm talking about, right? Where the phone
Yeah,
is,
I know, I know. So you don't
and
have to watch it and turn
yeah, and the
off.
audio will be playing,
Yes.
but that's only for premium subscribers, not for the free YouTube.
See,
Yeah,
podcast
yeah,
apps are for free.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, podcasts are free. But for me, it's not really like YouTube. I do all my stuff on YouTube. I learn, I get my YouTube is more like a university for me. It's a school, it's education, it's entertainment, it's Netflix, it's everything. Paying for a couple of, like right now, because of currency parity, I get to pay about $1.2 per month for subscription. And it's not really a big deal for me. Like I
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, in the US, probably you have to pay maybe $10 or $15. Yeah.
Also, the Netherlands is quite expensive.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Well, that's because maybe you guys are earning more. $10 or $15 is not a lot. It's not a lot for you guys, but for me, that's
True.
like someone's salary.
And we have a very speed internet.
Yeah, you
We
see,
also
you have
pay for
better.
that.
Okay, you see what we're saying, yeah. And yeah, I mean, building an online business is something that you need internet for. Like if you're doing coaching, for example, let's say I paid you for coaching and I show up for the coaching, and then your internet is bad. Well, how do you explain that? We'll do it the first day, the second day, you start telling me, and I'm like, phew. I'm like, she's not really serious.
It's not working. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not working.
Tough.
It's really
Yes.
hard, yeah. So that's it. Wow, I feel like this conversation could keep going, but I booked what you booked 1 hour, so I'm going to respect that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What's the advice you have for beginner podcasters, people that are just starting out?
I will start with the technical stuff.
Okay.
A good microphone doesn't have to be expensive, and there is so much out there knowing what a good microphone is. I
Yeah.
really encourage rising new podcaster to invest in a good microphone. And some stuff requires subscription. Invest in yourself and don't just do everything for free. Take any software, everything that is for free. Some stuff can be done for free, other not. And so having a good recording system, software, or a website and a good microphone are excellent tools to start with. And as a person, as a podcaster, if your heart is in the topic you want to talk about, just go for it. Don't listen to other people say, because in these billions of people around the world, there are those who want to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
It might not be your cousin, your brother, the neighbor, or
Yeah.
your colleague. These are not your
Yeah.
listeners. Don't
Yeah.
know where your listeners are. And they can be all over the world. That alone is such an encouraging thing to create a podcast. knowing that there is someone out there to listen. And
Yeah.
and if you're creating podcasts, do something that help humanity, helps people, and invest in good topics that make us as human grow and love each other and live in peace. And this is for me one of the most important advice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Where can listeners learn more about you? And could you like tell us the name of your podcast again? Just for, yeah.
The Life Affairs podcast with Rula. And Rula is written Roula.
What about the other one?
The other podcast is The Rosie and Rula Show.
I see what you did there. The Rosie and Rula show. Okay, 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 okay. Do you have a website that can where you can see everything you're doing?
Yes, the second one is rosieandrula.com. And my podcast is thelifeaffairspodcast.com. It's on Buzzsprout.
Wow. Okay, you have a website for your podcast. Pretty professional. That's
No.
nice.
Through Buzzsprout. It's more like also what you have. It's nothing sophisticated, but people can listen on it.
Oh, it's a subdomain on Buzzsprout.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, I mean, you're paying for podcast hosting. I'm not paying. I'm doing the free version. So you're pretty serious with
Okay.
this thing.
Yeah, that's also good.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Like I had a great 1 hour chatting with you, and yeah, I wish the conversation could go on, but
It's my pleasure to be here, and
that's it for today's episode of my podcast story. I am Wisdom Okonkwo, and I hope this conversation sparked new ideas and gave you a deeper look into the heart of podcasting. If you've loved this episode, consider supporting the show by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/wisdomhq. Every bit helps keep the stories going. And hey, don't forget to follow, rate, and share this podcast with another podcaster or creator who would find it helpful. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.